Freaky, frisky Friday. How are we doing, everybody? We are back. It's your man, Sammy the Man McIntyre with Moving the Chains podcast. Got to show the sign. Hope we're rocking and rolling. Hope we're doing as good or not better than the Houston Texans are. I got the Brahma Bull, the Rock Johnson, People's Elbow. We're rocking and rolling with some wrestling content tonight. But we're not as bad as the Buffalo Bills, who I got a phone call. Hello? This is fraud alert. Yep. Decline the call. Because that's what I felt like last night. I'm going to touch on that. Super Bowl window closed for Buffalo. I feel like it is. It was just ugly last night. And then I also want to touch on Dak Prescott. And I just got to give him respect. I just, what he's gone through and just some stuff like that. So let me start with this. So I'm watching that game last night. Most people were watching it. The Buffalo Bills lost last night. And I was very angry. I was very disgusted this morning waking up after watching that debacle last night. You guys know where I stand on Josh Allen. I think he's one of the best players I've ever seen. Best quarterback talents that I've ever seen. Mel Kiper one time put him on his top 10 of all time. He's that elite. And I love him. I think he's a combination. If you could combine them. Jesus. If you had Brett Favre arm talent, Cam Newton mobility, Big Ben size, you put them all together, that's Josh Allen. And I think I said this last year, a couple years ago after the Steelers went to Buffalo, got waxed. I put on Facebook, I said, I think he's Brett Favre mobility. Excuse me. And I do believe that to be true. But here's the thing. It's coming to close, Buffalo. You're wasting this guy's time. And I'm watching last night, and this just infuriates me with the Bills. It pisses me off. Because you've had this generational talent at quarterback, and you have not done anything. You haven't even got to a Super Bowl. With this guy? With Josh fucking Allen at the controls? Are you kidding me? Come on. You had the NFC East running for 5 years. You couldn't even do that. It was like the Patriots when they were kicking your ass. You had it made, Buffalo, and you did nothing with it. Nothing. And I blame this solely on the head coach. Once again, how many times am I going to hear, well, this offensive line for the Bills, it's been 8 years, Sean McDumbass. Do something about it. Do it. You know what it's turning into? The Steelers. Near the end with Big Ben. That's what it feels like. They're just kind of tuning Sean McDermott out. This defense that is his baby, and they have put money and time and investments into this defense, mainly on the defensive line, on the edges mainly, they were non-existent last night. I couldn't believe it. C.J. Stroud, not C.J. Stroud. He should have been playing last night, but he's in concussion protocol. Davis Mills looked like Joe Montana last night, just picking him apart. I mean, all I hear about is, we'll head over. So what? It's the NFL. Get over it. Next man up mentality. You got to do better than that. And again, this was your get-right game, Buffalo, to get your run defense all fixed and all aligned last night. And what happened? I look at the stat line. 100 yards by the Texans. Ran out a 100-yard rusher all year long. That's a joke. And then I'm watching Josh Allen on offense. He's pressing. Because he knows, I got to do everything. Been saying this for the last couple of years. Chris Sims has been saying it. Everybody's been saying it, not just me. And I'm so infuriated last night with the Bills. Because I thought, Houston, I'll get to them in a second. Their defense was so phenomenal last night. I'll give them the props in their team in a second. But I'm watching Buffalo. Their window's closed. Super Bowl. It's done. Because if you think right now you're on New England's level, you're absolutely not. Your roster is awful. I don't even consider it top 10. I don't. The team across from you, that's a top 10 roster. Easily top 10 or 12, I would say, in the league. You go ask personnel people. Because they got dudes everywhere. Corner, wide receiver, linebacker. You name it, edge guys. Houston steals the cake. Ain't even close. So, I am so annoyed right now at Buffalo. Because again last night, Josh Allen Put Superman cape on Josh. Come save us. At some point, it's going to bite you in the ass, and it did last night. And at some point, when are the Buffalo Bills going to wake up? Chop, chop, motherfucker, and do something about it. You have one of the best talents that ever at the position, and you can't even get to a Super Bowl. And it's not like you've had it eat hard. You've had it pretty easy. All you had to go through is Kansas City, which maybe they're in your head. Who knows? But that 13-second game, I put that solely on the head coach. You should have known better, dumbass. So, Mr. Al-Qaeda, Mr. Sean McDumbass instead of McDermott, I was annoyed last night, and I feel for Josh Allen. Sometimes it's like quarterback's laying the franchise down. No, the quarterback is saving the franchise because the Bills before Josh Allen got there were a dumpster fire train wreck. So if I'm the Buffalo Bills this morning, you got time to rest. At the end of this year, they need to fire Sean McDermott tomorrow. I would have fired him last year, 2 years ago. And listen, I give him credit. I've been saying this all the time on this show. I give him credit for rebuilding the Bills and getting them back on the track. I got all that. But you've got one of the best talent, best players on the planet, and you can't even get it done. That falls on you. You haven't got the O-line right. Your weapons are kind of hit and miss, whatever. And there's no down the field threats. Because you're supposed to have one in Keon Coleman, but he's a shitbird and shithead, and he can't get his head out of his ass. And you should have done your homework on him pre-draft. So, stupid shit, stupid prizes, man. This is what happens. So, I just, Buffalo, you got to make changes. And I would do this. Call Brian Daboll the minute season's over and get him as your head coach. Because I know one thing. When Josh Allen had Brian Daboll, magic happened. Kicking ass happened. That's what I saw with the Bills. I did. And I think Brian Daboll will get a chance as a coach. I really do. Now, is he going to handle, could he be the head coach? I don't know. But you better get it. Here's the thing. I was thinking about this today. Coaching-wise, who's going to be the hot guy out there? Put Mike McCarthy in Buffalo. And that's going to be a hot take. And you guys can DM me and text me. You're crazy, Sammy. You're crazy. No, just think about this. Mike McCarthy's a proven winner. Now, is he ever going to get you over the top? I don't know. Because I want to see the Bills win. I do. Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl. He's not a bum. He got the Cowboys. That's way more dysfunctional than the Bills. The 3 straight 12-win seasons. And he's worked with quarterbacks. Every one. He went 5-1 with Cooper Rush a couple of years ago when Dak was hurt. So, I think you got to do that route. This defensive shit, it's over. They're clearly, I'm watching defense last night for the Bills. They're not responding to Sean McDermott. I'm sorry, they're not. Their effort's awful. The tackling's piss poor. It's a shit show. And you know what? Bills got nobody to blame but themselves. Mainly this front office. Because it's the same movie. Because Brandon Beane was in Carolina with Cam Newton. Same movie. It's going to end poorly for Josh Allen. Because as great as he is, and he's a 6'6" freak show. Not like in Moneyball where they're talking about Chad Bradford and his weird throwing mechanics. People who have seen the movie. Like, oh, he's a freak show in a bad way. No, Josh Allen's a freak show in a good way. He's built in the lab. Him, Herbert, guys like that. But last night just came full center to me. It's over. Sean McDermott, got to go. You overstayed your welcome. You're not responding to these players aren't responding to you. Your defense sucks. And here's the other thing. You lost to average quarterbacks. You've lost to Davis Mills, Tua, and Michael Penix. Come on, bro. Oh, I lost Drake May. Yeah, but Drake May I consider elite. At this time, at this point. I don't know how far down the road he is, but right now, he's elite. You lost to Chef Boyardee last night. I really did. That's what Coward said, but I thought it was funny. And Josh Allen was Bobby Flay. Chef Boyardee beat you last night. Embarrassing. Buffalo Bills should be ashamed of themselves this morning. Frauds. That's the only thing I can think about the Bills right now. Frauds. Yep. Absolute joke. So let me talk on the Texans side. Because what I saw last night from that defense, I wrote this down. 8 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, 11 TFLs, 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Absolute ass kicking last night. Absolutely. And I'm telling you right now, in my life, I've been watching football 18 years. That might be one of the best defenses collectively I've seen. That might be hyperbolic, but in my eyes, what I've seen, it's elite. I mean, I have to go back to the Denver Broncos last Peyton Manning year, the Legion of Boom. I would say those Steeler defenses, early Tomlin. Maybe I would say the Niners when Harbaugh was there, just to name a few. Because this defense, it was suffocating Buffalo all night. And listen, they had it easy last night because Buffalo, as I mentioned at the top, did everything vertically, so kept everything in front of them. Shakir made some plays and blah, 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 whatever. But it was very impressive last night. And I'm a D'Amico Ryans fan. If you're going to buy stock in a coach, buy it in this guy. Because he's incredible. I was thinking about this today. Today. He's a captain. He went to Alabama. Nick Saban speaks highly of him. They swear about the guy. In San Francisco, when he was our coordinator in 2022, they wanted to keep him. And they really did. People in the Bay Area, Niner people, Middlecoff, and guys that I listen to, they wanted to keep him. But Houston called. And Houston, we have a problem. It's the Niners' problem. And what he's done to change this thing around just shows, man, you get the coach and the quarterback right, everything else kind of falls in place. I think Nick Caserio's done a fantastic job, the general manager, learning his stuff from the Patriots, Elliott Wolf and that sort of thing. And that's one of the reasons I think New England's winning, is because Elliott Wolf, Ron Wolf's son, and Ron Wolf's dad, it's his son, Elliott Wolf, he's been around football his whole life. So he knows talent when he sees it. And Ron Wolf had those Packer teams in contention all the time. When they got Favre and then 92, 2000, they went to 2 Super Bowls, won one, obviously. Should have won against Denver. That's size point. But I'm watching right now. This Houston defense is sick, man. Will Anderson, put him on my team, badass. Daniil Hunter, that's crazy. He didn't do crap in college. I didn't watch him, but I remember the name. He went to LSU. He's an SC guy. Nothing. He goes to Minnesota. I'm like, he's pretty good. I mean, Minnesota had really good defenses under Mike Zimmer, Harrison Smith, and guys like that. And when they got rid of him, I'm like, what are they doing? And then they pick up Houston. I'm like, whoa, okay. You pair him with those two, watch out. Reminds me of those Colts teams when they had Manning, Mathis, and Freeney. Both also those edges. You block 2 of them. One comes around the edge unblocked. It's cinema. And watching that defense, the corners, long, nasty, physical, tackle well. I can't say enough about Derek Stingley. I really can't. And Lassiter, that was on the broadcast last night. Kirk Hershey talked about this. He's finally molding into something. The kid from Georgia they drafted a couple years ago. And then at the linebacker position, that's pretty good. Solid, not bad. And then you get the back end with the safeties. Everything was aligned last night with Houston. And this defense is only going to get better. This defense, obviously, if I'm serious, they could win a Super Bowl. I'm dead serious. And just think when C.J. Stroud gets back and this offense starts kind of clicking and what it is, Houston is not somebody I want to face in the playoffs. I would not. Not with that coach. They're going to get C.J. Stroud back. And their offensive line, for being kind of crap, it looked kind of better last night. I'm not saying that Davis Mills is better than C.J. Stroud. I don't think it is close. But I watched last night, something really interesting came to my mind, and I went, he got the ball out. They just flowed better. I don't know. I'm not trying to pick on CJ, on Stroud, but I just kind of felt like last night I'm watching the Texans, and their offense kind of flowed with a better pace. They had Bobby Slowick. He was a Niner guy. I talked about this last year. Had a bunch of issues. I'm thinking now, the running game was pretty good last night. It was pretty good. It was solid. Nick Chubb looked like early Nick Chubb. I'm not saying like all the way there, but spurts of it looked pretty good. Woody Marks looks like a stud from USC. They got receivers. Nico Collins is just a badass. He's a beast. Like Mike Evans, light. I mean, Jesus Christ. Then you got Hutchinson. You have that Knoll kid. All the Iowa State guys pretty much are on the Texans. It's just, I was really impressed and blown away with Houston's defense last night. I really was. And their defense, as long as, I will put stock. There's 2 teams I want to buy stock into, New England and Houston. Because to me, as long as they have those coaches and those quarterbacks, now C.J. Stroud, kind of regressed since that rookie year. If he can get somewhat back to that, I think Houston and New England are going to be contenders for a long time. Mainly with those two coaches and the way that they're building their teams. It's just been fantastic, and it's awesome. Because both of them franchises, they had some momentum. New England obviously more than Houston, but Houston had momentum. They had a run with Deshaun Watson for that little bit of spurt, and then they went backwards, obviously. And then New England, obviously, Brady had their run with Belichick, faded for a couple years. They get a new coach, Mike Vrabel, plop him in. Pew! He's ass-kicking. So, phenomenal win by the Texans last night. They're still in the run for this. This last 2 years, I've given D'Amico credit. They're a tough football team that's mentally tough, not just physically. So last but not least, I wanted to touch on, I said at the top, Dak Prescott, if he gets 160 yards this weekend, will break Tony Romo's passing record for the Cowboys. And I was thinking about this today. I appreciate Dak Prescott. I like him. I saw Gruden's QB camp with him. He was cool. I have a lot of similarities with him. I lost my mom. He lost his mom. So I'm not trauma bonding. That's the, whatever term you want to use now. But I kind of relate to Dak Prescott. Heart to heart. Love you, Mom Mac. Love you. Okay? Gotta show it. But I'm just incredibly blown away by Dak. His maturity. He's had to deal with a lot of shit. The one thing with Romo that he didn't get the benefit that Dak did. Dak, when he got in the league for about 7 years, best offensive line in football. Arguably. And Romo didn't get that. Now, Dak can go off script, but Romo was more ad-lib Favre. Could be on script structure, but it was just kind of too ad-libby. And I love Romo as a player. But I just give Dak so much credit. He's had to overcome a lot of shit. He had to deal with the Jerry Jones bullshit. You had to deal with, the Micah mess. You had to deal with Zeke and his nonsense and Dez. And he's just smooth operator. He's SOD, baby. Smooth operator Dak, as I call him. He's just smooth. I'm never going to love him as a player. He's kind of weird. He's kind of Kirk Cousins with a bigger brand. I've said that before. But the way that he conducts himself, he's mature, he's buttoned up. Here's the thing that and everybody bitches at me. Well, Sam, you're all these quarterbacks. My therapist says that sometimes. But you know what? I'm going to be critical of you. When you're not mature, you're not buttoned up, you're a quarterback, I look at you differently. Will Levis, I loved him. I bought in. Not mature enough. Johnny Manziel, loved him. Not mature enough. Jameis Winston, too goofy. Too big of a dumbass. Not sold. Jay Cutler, same thing. So, you just got to take that in account when it comes to these quarterbacks. It's not more than just physical. It's hard, I get it, but you got to be able to do your homework, make sure they're leaders, and go from there. But I just am incredibly impressed by Dak Prescott, and I'm not a Cowboy fan by any means, but I appreciate Dak Prescott, and he's kind of underrated, maybe overrated at times, but I like him a lot. So that's all I got for tonight. Frisky Fun Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. We're getting close to Thanksgiving time. The holidays are coming. Hope you guys are doing well. I got content. We got football weekend long. God, I'm feeling good. Hope you guys are doing well. Adios. Godspeed.